Aditi, you started YouTube Live?
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Give it another minute and then we'll get started.
Mhm.
ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं कृष्णचैतन्यमीश्वरम्। नमामो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्दा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलं वाल्मीकिर्मुनिसिंहस्य कवितावनचारिणः शृण्वन् रामकथानादं गौनयाते परां गतिम् वेदवेद्ये परिपुंसे जाते दशरथात्मजे वेदः प्राचेतसात् आसीत् साक्षात् रामायणात्मना अञ्जनानन्दनं वीरं जानकीशोकनाशनं कपीशमक्षहन्तारं वन्दे लङ्काभयङ्करम् मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि आञ्जनेयमदिपाटनालनं काञ्चनाद्रिकमनीयविग्रहं पारिजाततरुमूलवासिनं भावयामि पवमाननन्दनं यत्र यत्र रघुनाथकीर्तनं तत्र तत्र कृतमस्तकाञ्जलिं बाष्पवारि परिपूर्णलोचनं मारुतिं नमत राक्षसान्तकम् जयत्राशतसन्त्रासध्वान्तविद्वांसनोदयः प्रभावान् सीतया देव्या परमव्योमभास्करः श्रीराम राम रामेति रमे रामे मनोरमे सहस्रनाम तत्तुल्यं श्रीराम नाम वरानने। कृष्ण। Yeah, in this interesting section of the Yuddha Kanda, today we will see Ravanavada, that is the killing of Ravan by Lord Sri Ram. And the Yuddha Kand begins with a beautiful embrace of Ram, Hanuman, and then they cross the ocean after building the most famous bridge. But before they build the bridge, Vibhishan comes and performs Sharanagati. He joins the side of Lord Ramchandra. Lord Ramchandra accepts Vibhishan, and we saw this entire section in great detail. And there was some messengers sent by Ravan, and one of the messengers was even captured. Before they built the bridge, actually, they were trying different means to cross the ocean, and they thought they could ask the ocean god, but he did not appear. Ram was very upset with the ocean god, and he tried to shoot an arrow to dry up the entire ocean, but then the ocean god appears. And then he tells him that there is this architect by the name Nala in your team. Ask him to build a bridge across the ocean. He identifies a particular section on the ocean, and he says that a bridge can be built. And the construction of the bridge is mentioned in great detail. And also the distance, how much was covered in each day, that is also mentioned. So after the bridge was built, they crossed the ocean. They started arranging the army in different formations. Ravan further sent more spies to check on the army of Lord Ram, and Lord Ram was very magnanimous, and he said, "Give them all the information. Let them know everything about us." Ravan was very demotivated, and he tried to perform tricks on Sita. He sent the beheaded head of Ram along with his bow to scare Sita, but then Sarama was very, very compassionate, and she consoled Sita Devi. Sarama even went to spy to see what was happening, and she saw that Ravan was advised by his uncle Malyavan and mother Kaikasi, but still he would not heed to their advice. Ravan began his army formation, and understanding the exact formation of Ravan's army, Ramchandra also stationed suitable warriors to attack the army of Ravan appropriately. Before the war had begun, the previous day night itself, Sugriva, he tried to get to Ravan, and there was a little fist fight between the two of them, and Ravan went bewildered. And the next day morning, Angada, he was sent as a messenger and to make peace. But then Ravan said, "There's no question of peace, there's going to be a war." So the war starts, and the war went on day and night. On the very first day, we saw how Ram and Lakshman were attacked by the Nagastra. And later, we also see how our dear Garuda, he appears in the sky, and he releases the two brothers from the Nagapasha. And the night of the first battle was also a very magical battle, because all these uh, uh, Rakshasas, they had magical powers, and there was a very fierce battle that continued on day two as well. And there was a small encounter between Ravan and Ram at that time, but Ravan was given a second chance, and he was sent back. Ravan fought very, very bravely, but then he had to get another chance by Lord Ram. Ravan contemplated, and he thought that Kumbhakarna should be awakened. So, waking up Kumbhakarna was a big task, and Kumbhakarna came into the war field, and he fought very bravely. He was responsible for killing huge armies of the Vanaras. And but however, eventually Kumbhakarna was killed by Lord Ram. Ravan was in great distress, and on the second day evening itself, Kumbhakarna was killed. The second day night, there was death of more demons, including Ravan's son Atikaya. And then, towards the end of the night, his dear son Indrajit was sent. He had lost all his dear people, his dear brothers, his sons, everybody. Only Indrajit was pretty much remaining among the great warriors. And Indrajit hit the Brahmastra, and at that time, a few people were not affected by the Brahmastra. They were Hanuman, Vibhishan, Jambavan. So Hanuman and Vibhishan, they were going around and trying to see if anyone was alive. And Jambavan, he asks if Hanuman is alive, and he tells Hanuman that he should go and he should bring the Sanjeevani Parvat. And he talks about the four great herbs. But Hanuman, not being very aware of these things, he just brings the mountain, and but just by inhaling, they all come to life. That day night, they try to light the entire Lanka on fire, like Hanuman had done previously. Then there was another demon by the name Makaraksha who was sent to the battle, and he was also killed. But then day 3 and day 4 was entirely with Indrajit. Indrajit was doing Maya Yudha on day 3 and day 4. And on day 5, this Indrajit, he tried to place an illusory image of Sita Devi on the chariot and act like as if he's completely killing her with a big sword. He tries to split her and kills that illusory figure. And Hanuman is bewildered, and he goes and he tells the information to Ram, and Ram totally breaks down. But then Vibhishan tells that don't worry, this is only something to distract you. It is an illusion. The reason Indrajit is doing all this is because he wants to finish the Nikumbila Yajna and come back invincible. But before he comes out of that region, before he crosses a particular banyan tree, Lakshman should go and fight with him and kill him. And as planned, Indrajit was killed by Lakshman. So Lakshman was the most, Indrajit was killed by Lakshman. Indrajit was the most difficult to be conquered on the side of Ravan. Ravan was relatively easier because Ravan had a heavy baggage of different curses, but Indrajit was not so easy. Ravan got very, very angry that his dear son was killed, and he calls the Mula Balasena that we discussed last week. He calls the Mula Balasena, that was like almost like a backup army, and he would release them only in situations of great danger. So he released the Mula Balasena, and Ramchandra just single-handedly. Sometimes he fought like the speed of wind. Sometimes these warriors, they could not see where Ram was because he was so swift. Sometimes on their part, they saw thousands of Ram in the battlefield. And in a matter of 3 hours, with all his arrows that were looking like flames, Lord Ramachandra, he killed the entire Mula Balasena. And these were lakhs and lakhs of soldiers. So all of them were killed, along with their elephants, horses, chariots, and so on. The female demons, they came to the spot, seeing that their husbands were killed, and they were lamenting. Looking at this gruesome scene, Ravan, he vows that he will take Ramchandra to task. And before he can reach Ramchandra, first he faces Lakshman. And when Lakshman is severely hurt, then Ram and Ravan, they begin fighting. And Ram and Ravan begin fighting. Lakshman, on his part, he comes forward, and he tries to behead the charioteer of Ravan, and Ravan hurls a spear towards Lakshman, and Lakshman is attacked in a very, very terrible manner. He's completely lost consciousness, and that is when Lord Ramchandra tells that he is now taking a vow that this Ravan will be killed. He says, within this Ram, there is another Ram they don't know, and that Ram is going to kill this Ravan. And Ram laments for the sake of his dear brother, and he fights so severely that Ravana, he runs away from the battlefield. He's so scared, he runs away from the battlefield. And then eventually, Lakshman, he regains his consciousness, and Indra wants to help because he's watching everything. And of course, our dear Lord, he came down to this world just for the sake of the demigods. Indra Vakulam Lokam Mridayanti Yuge Yuge, we read that for the sake of Indra and the demigods, the Lord appears from time to time in this material world. So Indra, he sends Mathali, who's his dear charioteer, to fight on behalf of Ram, to fight for the sake of Ram, simply because Ram did not have any charioteer, while Ravan was fighting standing on a chariot. So because it was not a fair battle, Mathali was sent. Yeah. So Matali was sent. Okay, so now we are going to continue from here. This is where we stopped in our previous class. So a very tumultuous battle between Ram and Ravan began. They were shooting arrows at each other. Ravana employs what is called as a Rakshasastra. Earlier with the Rakshasastra, he was shooting arrows that had heads of different animals. This time when he shot the Rakshasastra, these Rakshasastra arrows, they had head of serpents and they were rushing towards Ram in the battlefield. But then Ram could understand what the counter weapon would be, and he shot the Garudastra, the eagle form of arrows that went and attacked the serpents. Ravan then he saw that he was losing and he started piercing Matali with multiple arrows. And Ram just picked one arrow and he tore off Ravan's flagstaff. Then Ravana struck Indra's horses with multitude arrows and he started striking down Indra's golden staff that was there on the chariot. And seeing that the chariot and the horses were all struck down and Ram was afflicted, all the Gandharvas, Charanas, Siddhas, and demigods, they all felt dejected. But then though everyone was crying, everyone was being disturbed, Lord Ram got extremely angry as though he's going to burn down all the demons. And his anger was so terrible that the mountains with the lions, tigers, and all of them started trembling. And the demons were shouting out, Ravan ki jai, while the demigods were shouting out, Lord Ram ki jai, oh Lord Ram, may you be victorious. So Ravan, at this point in time, he was getting more and more enthused by his followers, and Ram was getting enthused by his followers. Then Ravana, he takes out a terrible spear and he throws that spear at Ram, saying, wait, I will kill you now. I just hurled a spear at Lakshman. Now I'm going to hurl a spear at you and I'm going to kill you. Saying that Ravan, he hurls a spear and with streams of arrow, Lord Ram, he wards off that spear. But then this Ravan spear, it smashed all of Ram's arrows. And seeing that all his arrows were smashed by the spear, Ram was very, very enraged and he grabs the spear that was brought by Matali. So this Matali, he also brought some weapons. So he takes the spear of Indra from Matali. And Ramchandra hurls that spear, and that spear went and counteracted Ravan's spear, and it tore down Ravan's spear, and Ravan's spear fell down on the earth. Then, with sharp arrows, Ram started piercing the horses of Ravan, and Ram finally pierced the chest region of Ravan. Okay. And it appeared that Ravan's limbs were all torn down by all the arrows that were shot by Ram, and his body was bleeding, and he falls down like a blooming Ashoka tree. If you see the Ashoka tree, especially the shorter variety, not the ones that we call today as Ashoka trees in India, the ancient variety, the traditional variety of Ashoka trees has red color flowers and it's more bushy, okay, than the modern day what they are identifying as Ashoka trees. So in Sri Lanka, when we went, we saw so many these traditional Ashoka trees. So these Ashoka trees, they have beautiful red flowers. And when it is in full bloom, it looks like a red ball. So like that, Ravan, he was struck by so many arrows and he was looking like a blooming Ashoka tree because of all the blood that was oozing out from his body. So seeing so many arrows striking him down, Ravan, he started shooting arrows. And when he was shooting arrows towards Ram started laughing and he started laughing and he said, oh, worst of the demons. What kind of person are you? You took away my helpless wife without my notice in Janastan. You're not a true hero. You're, after all, a coward. You took away Sita in my absence, and you're considering yourself to be a big champion. You're calling yourself a big hero. You're so shameless. You don't have any morality at all. Shame on you. You kidnapped my wife like a thief. And if you had done such a thing in my presence, you would have been killed on right there, and you would have been killed like your brother Kara, and you would have gone to hell in a minute, long time back. But now I'm going to dispatch you to the world of death with my sharp arrows, and your body, it is going to become the food for vultures and birds. Then Ram, in anger, he started shooting down multiple arrows, and so much so that Ravan could not even take up a single weapon and put it on his bow and stretch it. He was completely bewildered, and it appeared that Ravan's death was nearing at this point in time. He was reduced to such plight that he could not even collect his senses. And seeing his condition, his charioteers, Ravan's charioteer, he started driving away from the battlefield to protect his master. So he tried to take his master to safety. And he had almost lost consciousness, and he was driven away from the battlefield by his charioteer. And Ravan, after a few minutes, he just recovered himself from the swoon, and he looked that his charioteer was taking him away from the battlefield. So he got very, very angry. He was a very proud Kshatriya, and he was seeing that his charioteer is running from the battlefield, taking him in an unconscious state. So he was extremely angry with his charioteer, and he started screaming at his charioteer, telling, "You're such an evil minded person. What do you think about me? Why are you running away from this battlefield? Do you think I'm bereft of manliness? I cannot fight with this Ram. I'm not a coward. It's not that all my brilliance and my capabilities are gone. What do you think of me? Why are you taking this chariot away? You think I'm helpless, or did you get bribed by Ram? Are you working behind the screen with Ram? You've destroyed my fame, and I've lost trust in people like you. My enemy Ram is so powerful, and he's standing there like a warrior, and I'm like a coward. You're making me look like a coward running away from this place." And he, in fact, even glorifies Ram. Sometimes all these demons, unknowingly, they start glorifying Ram, and unknowingly, they start glorifying the Lord. So he says, Shatroho शत्रोः प्रख्यात् वीर्यस्य रञ्जनीयस्य विक्रमै. This Ram, he is illustrious. He has such great prowess, and he makes others delightful through his feats of valor. That means when Ram is standing in front of someone and fighting, the person opposing him feels delightful because he gives such a good fight. And what did you do? You took me away from this battlefield. He tells his charioteer that this act that you have done is the act of an enemy. It is not the act of a friend. I don't know why I have an enemy as my charioteer. And he tells, "Do you even remember? You have been living in Lanka for so many years. You have been my charioteer. Do you even understand my capabilities? In front of enemies, how I stand with all my valor. But what have you done? You've simply taken me away from the battlefield. You've lived in Lanka for so long, and you don't understand who I am." So, like this, when he was shouting at his charioteer, this friendly minded charioteer, he begins to speak to Ravan, reminding Ravan of the duties of a charioteer. So he says, "My dear king, it's not that I was frightened, or I was stupid, or I was bribed by my enemies, nor am I a blunderer, nor am I being disloyal to you. I have not forgotten all the goodwill and the gifts that you have bestowed on me. I know you are my well wisher, and so am I to you. Because you were so exhausted, you were so strenuous from fighting, I thought you had to be protected. That is the prime duty of a charioteer. The prime duty of a charioteer is to ensure that his master is always protected. I saw that the horses of my chariot were broken down. They were exhausted. They were looking miserable. You were completely fatigued. And I was seeing inauspiciousness everywhere. So I had to act according to time, place, and circumstance. So I should look at the things around me. I should see the depression and elevation on the ground, how the chariot is moving. I should see the face of the warrior. I should assess the current position, understand the strength and weakness of the opponent, and then protect my master. These are the duties of a charioteer, and I acted accordingly because I had to protect you. So I know how to arrive in the battlefield, how to move away in the battlefield, at what point I should go reverse, at what point I should recede, how I should ensure that the warrior is protected. So I took the correct action because I could see that the horses were fatigued and you yourself was in a terrible condition. So hearing these very wise words of the charioteer, Ravan, he accepted the words and he felt that he overreacted and he gives a gold ring as a gift. And then he tells, the charioteer looks at Ravan and he says, now you seem to be all right. So you tell me, give me a command. What should I do? I will do whatever you ask me to do. Then Ravan said, okay, take the horses and let us go back to the battlefield. So when all this was happening, meanwhile, when all this drama was happening, when Ravan was going away with the charioteer and so on, meanwhile, in the battlefield where Ram was, the great sage Agastya Muni, he had come there and he gave darshan to Ram and he told Ram, my dear Ram, I've come here to serve you and I have to tell you a secret at this point in time. It is appropriate for me to give you some mantras at this point in time with which you will conquer the enemies in battle. And he gives the great Aditya Hridayam Stotram. So this Aditya Hridaya Stotra, it begins with Aditya Hridayam Punyam Sarvashatru Vinashanam Jahavaham Jape Nityam Kshayam Paramavisham Sarvamangalamangelyam Sarvapapa Pranashanam Chinta Shoka Prashanmatma Ayurvardhan Ayurvardhanam Uttamam. So and so on. And then the entire Aditya Hridayam Shlokam he recites. And he gives the secret to Ramachandra. So, what is the use of this Aditya Hridayam at this point in time? Now, our Acharyas, they give us three reasons. The first reason why this Aditya Hridayam is being spoken by Agastya Rishi to Lord Sri Ramachandra is because that you all know Aditya Hridayam is a hymn or is a shloka that is used to glorify the sun god, right? So he says, if you pacify or glorify the sun god at this point in time, you will emerge victorious. Now, who is the sun god? We should understand that these hymns or these shlokas are actually directed towards Surya Narayan. It is not just the demigod's son. Rather, it is Surya Narayan who is non-different from Lord Ramachandra. That is the first explanation that is given by our acharyas. The second explanation given is even if it is the sun god, there is actually no problem here simply because Lord Ramachandra, he comes in the Surya Vamsha. So we should understand that yes, it was directed towards the sun because Lord Ram comes in the Surya Vamsha and he requires the blessings of his ancestors, but he is directing the prayers towards Surya Narayan, who's the Supreme Lord. These prayers, when they are chanted, they are actually glorifying the Supreme Lord. And the third point that our acharyas say, which is kind of interesting, is that this section of Agastya suddenly appearing in the battlefield and giving the Aditya Hridaya mantra for Ramachandra to become victorious is a recent addition. But how recent? Recent, it's actually when Govindaraja was writing this commentary, he says it must have been a later addition. That means it was an addition that was made several thousand years ago. Okay, not something recently where the modern day scholars have written. This addition, according to Govindaraja, was made even before his time, which means several thousand years ago. So it's he why he says that is because the ancient commentators, not the commentators of current time, of the four sampradayas, not those commentators, but the commentators of much earlier times have not said anything about the Aditya Hridayam. So, which means that the very, very ancient texts of the Ramayana, present several thousand years ago, did not even have this section. This is a suspicion that is raised by certain commentators. Okay. So, even if it is there, we should understand that it was appropriate for Lord Ramchandra to chant the Aditya Hridayam first and foremost thing because Surya Dev is his ancestor, and also he is directly doing stuti of not any ordinary demigod, but he's doing stuti of Surya Narayan. So this is the understanding that is explained, and the Aditya Hridayam is one full chapter, and many people memorize it. They sing it for good health, to become victorious in battles, and so on. So generally, they worship sun god for good health, right? And also to become victorious. So that is also another indication that is given here that at this point in time, it was imperative for Lord Sri Ramchandra to hear and recite the Aditya Hridaya Shloka. Last time when I was doing this series, I had Sukasagri Mataji sing the entire thing. This time I was not prepared. But anyhow, we'll skip the singing or the recitation and we'll go forward with the story. Okay. So Agastya, after giving the hymn, he tells, "O Rama, you please recite this hymn 3 times. You should say the Aditya Hridayam 3 times. And because of just by saying this 3 times, you will become victorious in the battle and you will be able to easily kill Ravana." So having done that, Agastya, he disappears from the scene. If you see Agastya's role in the Ramayana from time to time, Agastya helps Ram by giving him the weapons and the shlokas and the mantras and all that. Even in Aranyakand, we saw how the bow was actually handed over by Agastya again to Ram. It had disappeared and it was in the custody of Varuna in Balakanda, but then later in Aranyakanda it was handed over by Agastya. So Agastya comes and he gives some nice help, and he had hosted Ram for many months and many other occasions in the Aranyakanda as well. So anyway, he recites this mantra, and meanwhile, Ravan returns. Okay, so all this was happening when Ravan was away. So now Ravan, holding his bow, he comes back, and the sun god from the sky, he shouts out to Ram. And once he's done with reciting 3 times, he blesses Ram and he says, "Now you are ready." Okay. So Ram, now you hasten up and you go and attack Ravan, you will become successful. At this point, Ramchandra, he sees Ravan who's returning to the battlefield, and Ravana has one head. Okay, note this. Why is it important? Because we are going to see an interesting battle now. So when he appears, Ravan can appear the way he wants. He's a Rakshasa. He has shape-shifting capabilities. Okay. So depending on the form he wants, he can take that form. So now he appears with one head on his chariot here. And Mathali and Ramchandra, they are all set. Ram tells Mathali to be ready, and there are bad omens seen on Ravan's side that is predicting Ravan's downfall, and there are good omens that are predicting our Lord Ram's victory. So now there was another great fight that is going to happen between Ram and Ravan. So Rama, he picked the beautiful bow that he had, and he fastened some arrows and he started shooting at the charioteer's head, actually. No, sorry. He started shooting at Ravana's head, actually. So the battle began. They were exchanging some arrows for a while. And then, after some time, Ramchandra, he fixed a very good arrow and he aimed at the head of Ravan. And Ravan's head was chopped off along with his blazing earrings. So everybody thought, okay, Ravan is finished at this point in time. But before everyone could get really happy, exactly another head, similar to the one that was chopped off, appeared on his shoulders. So the first head that was chopped off fell down on the ground, and another head appeared on top of the neck of Ravan. And again, Ram, he took up another excellent arrow and he shot the second head of Ravan. So the second head fell down, and miraculously, the third head appeared on Ravan's neck. So, like this went on and on. It was like, these video games that they play, they go on shooting, and then everything is dying, but something else is appearing like that. So, Ramchandra was literally playing, okay? He could have finished Ravan in 1 second. He's the Supreme Lord. He has all the capability and he's doing all this Leela here. And he goes on shooting one by one all the heads of Ravan, so much so that he removes 100 heads of Ravan. He chops off 100 heads of Ravan very, very patiently. And this Ramchandra, he goes on doing this, but one after the other, hundreds of heads keep appearing. And Ram is very confused. He thinks, what is the reason? I use these arrows, the same arrows of mine, to kill demons like Maricha, Karadhushan, Kabanda, Virada, all of them, even the seven solitaries. So I've done all this, but then the same arrows have no efficacy on Ravan. So he again thinking like this, he started showering some arrows at Ravan's chest, but still nothing happened. So like this, the entire battle, we understand it went on for 7 days. The entire battle between Ram and Ravan from beginning to end, we are telling. That is from day 1 to day 7. So this goes on the. This is actually on the final day. The battle is going on, and at this point, Matali is very bored. He's like, "What are you doing? Simply you're shooting arrows, and don't you understand the time to dispose him off has come? Why don't you just employ the Brahmastra and finish it off? I mean, what's keeping you engaged like this? You're just having fun with him. Come on, the time for his destruction has come." And so, having been reminded by Matali, like as if he didn't know, Ram, he picks the Brahmastra. And this Brahmastra was also handed to him when the sage Agastya had appeared to give the Aditya Hridayam. So that's what Ramayana mentions, that he also handed the Brahmastra. So all these bows, the important astras and all, from time to time, they were re-handed to him by Agastya. So now Agastya, he remembers that this Brahmastra was given by Agastya. Okay, finally, let me shoot it. So originally, it was given from Brahma to Indra. Then Indra gave it to Agastya, who gave it to Ram. Okay, so this is the Guru Parampara of receiving the Brahmastra. And now he picked up that Brahmastra. He chanted the hymns related to the Brahmastra to activate the weapon. He fixed it on his bow and he released the Brahmastra. So this Brahmastra, it went straight towards Ravan and it hit the chest of Ravan and it tore off the heart of Ravan. It went through the body of Ravan. It soaked up the blood of Ravan. It went through his body and hit the ground, pierced through the ground. And then the arrow came back and sat on the bow of Lord Ram. Like this, on the Pratama Tithi of the Shukla Paksha of Chaitra Mas, Ravan was killed according to the Valmiki Ramayana. Okay, so Ravan was killed. Now, as soon as he was killed, the life force departed, and this great demon, he died and he fell down just like how Vritrasura was killed by the thunderbolt of Indra. Now, there are so many other retellings of Ramayana about the killing of Ravan. Some retellings tell that there was some nectar in the heart, and that nectar had to be dried up, and he kept shooting arrows, and then this dried up the nectar, and finally he was killed. So, like that, there are many retellings, but the version of the Ramayana, Valmiki Ramayana, just says that it was the Brahmastra that was aimed at the chest of Ravan. It went around soaking, going through the body of Ravan, soaking through his blood, pierced the earth, and came back and sat on the bow of the Lord. Why did it go around like that? There are other versions of Ramayana that say that that arrow, just like how we talk about Narsinghadev, right? We say when Narsinghadev was piercing the stomach region of Hiranyakashipu. At that time, he was searching, looking inside. Oh, from here only that great devotee Prahlad was born. From this body, actually, the body of Prahlad was created. So he was searching, is there any good in this person? Right? Like that, here also, that arrow that pierced through Ravan was searching. I want to remove even that remaining little bit of lust that is there in Ravan towards Sita. I want to completely eradicate it. I want to remove everything, clean him up, and then send him out of this body and release Ravan. So that was the intention of Lord Ram's arrow going through his body like that. And then Ravan, he falls down, and all the demons were grief stricken, and all the Vanaras, they all rejoiced, shouting Jai Shri Ram. All the demigods, they assembled in the sky, and they were waiting for this moment. When will this Ravan be killed by Ram? They saw the spectacle and they were showering flowers. Sugriva, Vibhishan, Angada, Lakshman, all of them came running and they saw this fantastic event of Ram killing Ravan, and they paid their obeisances and respects in front of Lord Ram. And there was joyous shouting everywhere, saying all victory to Lord Ram. Vibhishan, he came forward, and at this point in time, he saw his brother. Yes, he thought that his side was victorious, but then at the end of the day, this person is his brother. So his heart was filled with an outburst of sorrow. He looked at Ravan's body and he said, "Oh, my brother, why are you lying like this? You're killed on the ground. You were such a dynamic ruler. You were the king of the demons. But just because of your infatuation, because of your lust and the disregard that you had for my advice, you are now in this condition. You have such a great body. You were a skilled archer. You did extreme austerities and you pleased the demigods. You were like a huge tree of the demons. But today, that tree has been severed and it has been crushed by the storm in the form of Lord Ram. So he cries out like this in affection for his brothers. And Ramchandra was consoling Bibhishan, saying that Ravan did not die in the battle without making any effort. He was a great hero. He exhibited extraordinary enthusiasm in the battlefield. He died as a victorious Kshatriya. Hmm. So he's fallen down in the battlefield being a great warrior. I have never seen such a heroic warrior. A warrior killed in the battle should not be mourned for. He's reaching a higher destination. So, this is what our scriptures are saying. So, please get out of your grief, oh my dear Vibhishan, and perform your duty. This Ravan has finally been conquered. Yes, he was a great king. He practiced so many austerities. He had mastered the Vedas. He was proficient in so many different rituals. But now it's time for you to give him a befitting send off. So do his final rites. So then Ram said, he said something very important. He says this again later also. He says, all enmity and hostile feelings should end with death. He advises Vibhishan. At this point in time, yes, Vibhishan was feeling that sorrow, but Bibhishan was also resisting in his mind to perform the rites of his brother. So Ram could understand that. And Ram said, at all enmity and hostile feelings, they end with death. But then there is another meaning to the statement. What is the another meaning? The commentators say this is not just for Vibhishan, this is for Ravan also. Because Ravan, throughout his life, he had so much hostile feelings and enmity towards Ram simply because of the lust that he had towards Sita. Ram tried to correct him in various ways and chastise him, but then his offenses were simply increasing. But then Ramachandra corrected the offenses with the death. Because at the time of death, the spirit leaves the body. Only while associating with the body, we are making these offenses. So to relieve him compassionately from making offenses, Lord Ram actually killed him. That is the inner meaning of the statement that Lord Ramchandra says, all enmity and hostile feelings end with death. So the enmity and hostile feelings that Ravan had with Ram have now been ended. That is what Ramchandra is trying to tell here. And he tells Vibhishan that you should carry out all your duties towards your brother by performing the funeral rites, and you should not keep that hate in your heart now. And this Ravan is now worthy of all respect and love. So, like this, when Ravan was fallen like this, and Ramchandra was advising Vibhishan, all the female demonesses, especially the wives of Ravan, they came running into the battlefield because they had heard the news that their dear Lord Ravan was actually fallen. So they came rolling out, they were falling on the dust of the streets. Their hairs were disheveled and they were tormented with grief, just like how cows are separated from their calves. So, like this, they were crying out, "Oh my Lord, oh my husband." And they ran hither and thither and they were covered they saw the ground that was covered with headless trunks and blood, and finally they could catch a glimpse of their dear husband who was fallen down like that. The women, they all went and they embraced their husband, and they started lamenting, keeping Ravan's head on their lap. And they were telling this Ravan, whom Indra was fearful of, whom Yamaraj was struck with terror, whom Kuvera was deprived of the Pushpak Viman, and whom fear was caused in the battlefield for the Gandharvas and the demigods and sages. Now that great Ravan is killed. The wives of Ravan, they were telling, "What is this? Who is Ravan and who is this man who came all the way walking from Ayodhya? Ravan, he was capable of killing the demigods and demons. And how is it that today he is being conquered by a mere human who just came walking from somewhere in Ayodhya? What kind of situation is this?" And then they said, "Oh my lord, you were not killed by a man. Rather, you were killed by adharma. You took away Sita. In spite of so much pursuance, you did not give her up. So many people had come and advised your mother, your uncle, so many people, even your brother, but you did not pay heed to their advice. If you had restored Sita to Ram, then all of us would have been saved. Maybe it is the divine will that you must be conquered. It is destiny. And who can counteract destiny in this world? You can never counteract destiny with power or money. So, like this, all these wives, they were weeping. And at that time, the senior most wife, Mandodari, she comes and she looks at Ravan who's fallen, and with a choked voice, she said, "Oh, great brother of Kuvera, even Indra would not dare to stand in front of you when you're angry. How did a mortal man wandering in the forest just come and kill you? I don't believe that that ordinary man, Ram, came and destroyed you. Is it that Mrityu Devata came in the form of Ram? Actually, the moment your brother Kara and Dushan, they were killed by Ram and Janastan, that time itself it must have been evident to you that this Ram is no ordinary human being. Who said he's an ordinary human being? We felt so painful the moment Hanuman came and he burned the entire city of Lanka. Shouldn't you have realized the day that they all built a terrible bridge across the ocean that Ram is not an ordinary person? You should have known that long time back. And then she takes a deep breath and she says, I know very well who this Ram is. Yes, indeed, he is the Supreme Lord. He is the one who is the Paramatma in everyone's heart, in your heart, in my heart, in all of our hearts, in the hearts of the Vanaras and in the hearts of the demigods. And then she speaks this very famous, celebrated verse. She says, व्यक्तमेष महायोगी परमात्मा सनातन अनाधि मध्य निधनो महता परमो महान् तमसः परमो धाता शङ्खचक्र गदाधर श्रीवत्सवक्ष नित्यश्री अजय्य सहस्वतो ध्रुवा मानुषं रूपमास्थाय विष्णुसत्यपराक्रम सर्वप्रवृत्तियो देवै वनार्थमा उपागतो सर्वलोकेश्वर श्रीमान् लोकानां हितकामया राक्षसपरिवारं हत्तत्वम् अस्त्वं मदयुध्यति. This Ram is certainly a Mahayogin. What kind of Mahayogin? Yes, he's Yogeshwara, but he's also the eternal Paramatma. And this eternal Paramatma is Anadi. Has no beginning. Madhya Nidhano. He doesn't have a middle, or he doesn't have an end. And he is Paramo Mahan. Mahata Paramo Mahan. He is the Parabrahman. He is the one who's beyond all ignorance. Tamasa Paramo. He is beyond all tamasa. He is the nourisher of this entire universe, and he holds Shankh Chakra Gada. So he holds the conch, disc, and the mace, and his chest is embellished with the Srivatsa Vaksha. The Vakshasthala is embellished with the Srivatsa mark on his chest. With his everlasting beauty, he's capable of conquering everyone and not being capable of conquered. He is the eternal soul of this entire universe. He is full of all strength. He is the Lord of all worlds. And he's the most fortunate. He's the most splendorous. And indeed, he is Vishnu Satya Parakrama. He is Vishnu himself. He's the well-wisher of everybody, well-wisher of you also. And taking the form of a simple human being, he has come here for the welfare of all living entities. He's come here surrounded by demigods in the form of monkeys. These Vanaras, they are all demigods, and this person Ram is none other than the Supreme Lord himself. And she says, "Oh Ravan, Ram killed you as you were standing surrounded by demons there in the battlefield itself. Now this Mandodari, she said that you were standing like that in the battlefield, thinking that you're great. But the Supreme Person, He Himself, He came in the form of a human being and He finished you, He killed you." So, like this, in the battlefield, in front of everybody, she openly declared that this is the Supreme Lord. So the Supreme Lord might have not been visible to others, but she was a very advanced soul. This Mandodari, she was able to understand that this is none other than the Supreme Lord. She tells her husband, "This evil result that has come upon you is because you didn't listen to my advice. I told you so many times, don't have enmity with Ram. Earlier also I warned you, this Ram is not an ordinary person. I told you not to behave badly towards Sita. She is actually very respectable. She's a respectable woman. She's more respectable than Arundhati or Rohini. She's such a great personality. And you just didn't give regard to what I said. You didn't listen to your well-wishers, and you ended up killing yourself and all your people. Didn't you know the Sita is the goddess of fortune? She is Lakshmi, she is Bhudevi, and she's extremely fond of her husband, and she will never leave her husband at any point in time. She is the most chaste woman. The fire of her chastity has actually consumed you long time ago. And because Indra and this Agni were so terrified of you, you were not burned all these days, but then you had to be killed in the hands of Ram. There is no doubt that the time will come and karma will take over. You are paying for all that you did. Now we have become a widow. Why did you go after Sita? There is the need for you. She is telling, "I'm the beautiful daughter of Mayadanava. What was not there in us? You were so proud. You were so proud. My father, Maya, is the king of the demons, and he found a husband befitting my beauty. He found you. a person who had conquered even Indra. And I had a firm conviction that there's nothing to fear in your presence. But then today, the Rakshasas, they have lost their leader. What a pity! The leader is lost simply because of his lust. It is not because he was not brave, because he was a servant of his senses. He has been lost like this. So in the meanwhile, Ram, he again tells Vibhishan, you please go and console all the women and ensure that you perform the funeral rites. And Vibhishan was initially hesitant. He didn't want to perform the final rites. He said, this brother of mine, he was a follower of Adharma all his life, and he has done so many sins. How can I worship him? How can I offer the final rites for him? He had so much enmity with you, Ram, and you are the embodiment of dharma, and he is the embodiment of adharma. How can I perform his rites? Then Ramchandra, he tells Vibhishan, Vibhishan, I'm your well-wisher. Actually, I won this battle only because of you. You supported me and I won this battle. Because I'm your well-wisher and you are my well-wisher, I have to give you appropriate advice. I just can't leave you. You're a good friend. He tells this demon, Ravan, he may be full of unrighteousness and he could be a terrible person. But remember, the enmity with a person should go away when a person dies. And Ramchandra goes to the point of telling him, actually, the Acharya's comment that he tells that with his death, his enmity with me is also gone. And if you do not perform his last rites, I will do it. I will consider him my brother and I will do it. So that is what he's indicating in that verse. And hearing these words of Ram, Vibhishan, he began to perform the final rites of his dear brother, of his dead brother rather. And the Vibhishan and Malyavan, who was still around, they initiated the funeral ceremony. And Matali, who was standing there, his job was over. So he looked at Ram and he pays his obeisances and he returns to heaven. And after all the final rites were done on the Prathama Tithi of Shukla Paksha, the day that he was killed. Okay. And Ram, he instructs Lakshman to arrange for the installation of Vibhishan on the throne of Lanka. And Lakshman, he goes and he gets the seawater. So far, Ramchandra didn't do any pattabhisheka of anybody. Even for Sugriv, he asks Lakshman to do. Even in the other side of the ocean shore, he asked Lakshman to do. Now also, he tells Lakshman to arrange for the installation of Vibhishan. And Lakshman arranges by getting seawater with some monkey chiefs, with some vanaras, and he sprinkles over Vibhishan and he puts him as the king of Lanka on the Dvitiya Tithi of the Shukla Paksha of Chaitra Mas. Chaitra Mas is when? March, April. Okay. So now, Ramchandra, he tells Hanuman, who's standing next to him with humility and folded hands, that my dear Hanuman, now our king of Lanka is Vibhishan. So Vibhishan should be giving orders. So you please take permission from this Vibhishan and go and inform Sita that we are here. So Vibhishan immediately gave permission and he said, first please do that. Go and tell Sita that we are here. So he tells, please tell Sita that I, Ram, along with Lakshman and Sugriva, as well as all the other Vanaras are stationed here, and Ravan has been killed in the battle. Then Hanuman, he takes permission of Vibhishan and he gets approval of him to enter the Ashoka garden. As per the regulations, all the Rakshasas and Rakshasis are given instructions that our new king has instructed that Hanuman should be given permission to go and see Sita. So he sees Sita under the tree. Again, Sita is bereft of all her luster and beauty, and she was like a frightened cow surrounded by the female demons. Now, very, very humbly, Hanuman, he approaches Sita Devi, who's sitting under the tree. He pays his obeisances to Sita Devi. And seeing her face, Hanuman, he begins to narrate the message of Ram. He says, O goddess, Ram is here. He has destroyed our enemy Ravan, and I have come here to give you the happy news. Then he says Ram and Lakshman, with the support of Vibhishan and all the Vanara chiefs, They killed Ravana, and Vibhishan has been enthroned. So, hearing these words, Sita, whose face was like the full moon, she could not speak. She was tongue tied and she was so happy. She was completely choked up. And she became speechless and she was overpowered with extreme joy. And she was so happy. She tells Hanuman, I cannot give you gold or silver or diamonds or anything in the three worlds that is suitable as a gift for you. I'm unable to repay you for many, many lives for the service that you have done. The same thing Lord Ramchandra also said. Lord Ramachandra, be it Krishna or Ram or even the goddess of fortune, nobody can repay the pure devotee. They become sold out to the pure devotee. Lord Krishna, Lord Ramachandra, all of them said the same thing. And here is Sita who's also telling the same thing. And Hanuman, he says very gently, he says, these words of yours that you're speaking, which is full of mercy, which is full of affection, which is full of love, these words are so much better than any kind of diamonds or luxuries. This is all I need. I just need your affection and your loving words. Hmm. And he also says that now that I see my Lord Ram, who's victorious, he's killed his enemies and he's obtained victory, and I can see you will be united with Ram. That is my greatest happiness. That is my greatest gift. That is all. That is the blessing that I require. So, hearing these words of Hanuman, Sita told Hanuman, you alone can utter these beautiful words, full of good attributes, filled with intelligence. You are most praiseworthy. Of course, you are the virtuous son of the wind god. Who else can speak like you? There are numerous qualities in you. Again, she says this. Earlier, also, she had mentioned this verse. So, again, now also she says, you're full of strength, valor, knowledge of scriptures, vigor, prowess, superlative skill that is in action. You can act immediately. You have forbearance, firmness, stability, humility. All the good qualities are present in you. So, like this, Hanuman continued to address her with a humble disposition. And then he told Sita, Sita Devi, I need a request from you. And Sita was thinking, I can fulfill your request provided as it is as per dharma. So tell me, what do you need? And Hanuman says that I wish to kill all these notorious female demons who had been torturing you, who had been tormenting you all these days. So just grant this boon to me. And Sita smiles and she says, my dear Hanuman, who will be angry with maid servants? They are completely dependent on their king's demand. If their king tells them you have to torture somebody, they will go torture somebody. If the king says you should honor somebody, they will go honor somebody. Now that the king is Vibhishan, if Vibhishan says respect Sita, they are all going to respect me. Why should I punish simple servants who are simply carrying out the order of their king? So don't speak like this. It is all my fate. It is the will of the Supreme Lord, and I want to forgive all of them. And then she tells this story of a tiger, a bear, and a hunter. She says once there is a tiger was chasing a hunter, and the hunter, seeing the tiger chasing him, he climbs up a tree. A bear was sleeping on top of the tree. And seeing this, that the bear and the hunter were on the same tree, the tiger looked at the bear and tells the bear, "Oh bear, both of us are residents of the forest, and this hunter is our common enemy. So knock him down from the tree. Just push him down." But the bear, you know what he said? He said, he has come to my house. This tree is my house. And he has sought shelter with me in this tree. So, since he has sought shelter here, I am not going to push him down. I will be deviating from my duty. I have to give him protection when he has come in search of me. Saying that, the bear went to sleep. Now, the tiger, seeing that the hunter was awake and the bear was sleeping, he tells the hunter, now you push the bear down. Okay, I will eat up the bear and I will give you protection. What did the hunter do? Showing his human nature, this hunter, he pushed the sleeping bear. But then the bear, his natural habitat is this a tree. So he caught on to a branch of the tree and he came back and he sat in his place again without falling down. Now the tiger told the bear, see the nature of these human beings. He is so disloyal. You have seen his true colors. Now you push him down and I will eat up the hunter. But what did the bear do? The bear refused to push down the hunter. He told the same thing again. He said, no, he's my guest. He's come here to take shelter. I will never betray him. Even if he doesn't have the good qualities, still I will not push him down. The tiger tried to brainwash him again and again, again and again. But the bear, he refused to let this hunter go down. He said, I will not harm him at any point in time. So, from the story, Sita Devi is telling Hanuman that whether these demonesses, yes, they were torturing me, whatever it may be, but whatever the situation may be, I am going to give them shelter just like the bear. Now, this is interesting. In the case of Vibhishan going and surrendering unto Ram, Vibhishan took efforts and he went and he surrendered unto Ram, and Ram gave him protection. Ram also told similar stories like this. He told about pigeon hunter and all that. He also told similar stories. Now, Sita Devi's case, did the demonesses take shelter of Sita? They did not. Actually, some time ago, Trijata indicated. Trijata said, take shelter of Sita and she will avoid fearlessness, she will protect. But the demonesses, they thought, we will do it when time comes. We don't have to do it now. And they did not take shelter. So, even though the demonesses did not surrender or request shelter, still she is the goddess of fortune. She is the mother. This is the glory of the mother. Even without us requesting that I want to be sheltered, still the goddess of fortune is so compassionate. Radharani, she's so compassionate, right? We say we approach Krishna only through Srimati Radharani. If you go directly to Krishna, he may or may not accept us. But then if we have the recommendation letter from Srimati Radharani, definitely we are accepted because Radharani will not refuse anybody. Like that. So Sita Devi doesn't refuse anybody. And she tells Hanuman, kindness should be shown to a noble person, whether he is a sinner or he is a virtuous person or even a person who's being killed. No one should be devoid of shelter. And she tells Hanuman, who has not done wrong in this world? All of us have made so many mistakes. So it is perfectly fine to forgive them. This is the verse she says. This is called as Sita Charama Shloka. Just like how we have Rama Charama Shloka, Sakrideva Prapannaya Tavasmeti Chayachate. Similarly, we have Sita Charam Shloka, which is far superior than Ram Charan Shloka. So here it is. पापानां वा शुभानां वा वदार्हनां प्लवङ्गम कार्यं कारुण्यमार्येण न कश्चिन अपराध्यते. She says, papanam va shubhanam va. Papanam va means tvadapi abhiprayena papanam va. She says, you're thinking people have committed sins, the ones who are committed sins, okay? And who's thinking? She's not thinking because she doesn't see sins in anybody, okay? So she's telling, tvad abhiprayena papanam va. Yeah, mad abhiprayena shubhanam va. That means in my abhiprayam, in my opinion, I see everyone as Shubham. Everyone is very auspicious. In your abhipraya, you're telling they have committed sin. Whether they have committed sins or whether they are auspicious and not committed sins, or even vadharinam, even if they're the worst and they are fit to be killed so bad, even then, oh plavangama. Plavangama means an animal who jumps from one tree to the other. So she is telling that you are very intelligent. She glorifies him in various ways so far. But then at this point in time, he is indicating that aren't you behaving like a restless monkey who jumps from one tree to the other to think like this? Anabhilashatva, you're doing an undesirable act. It's not a good act what you're telling. So she's telling Papanam va Shubhanam va Badarinam Plavangama, O Plavangama. Oh, monkey natured one. Karyam Karunyamaryena na kaschin aparadyati. Na kaschin aparadyati. You should show kindness to everyone, even if he's fit to be killed. And she asks, who has not committed mistakes? She says, you think your Ram didn't commit mistakes? You'd think I didn't commit mistakes. I shouldn't have gone behind the deer. And this Ram, when I requested Ram to go and fetch the deer, he shouldn't have ran behind the deer. Then Hanuman must be thinking what mistake he did. So you are sitting and listening to all the aparads that we have done. That is the biggest aparad, she says. Aparad means mistakes, okay? So you are listening to my mistake and Ram's mistake. That is the biggest mistake that you are doing. So like this, the commentators, these are all the relishment of the commentators. They say, so like that, Kaschan Aparadhyati, who has not made mistakes? Ram has made mistakes. Sita has made mistakes. Now Hanuman is also making a mistake, listening to what all mistakes Sita and Ram have done. So she says it's okay. They have done mistakes. But then Hanuman is asking, okay, mistakes are fine. You're ready to forgive mistakes. But then what about all the unacceptable torture they did? And she says, it's okay. That is their nature. They are Rakshasas. The nature of a dog is to bark. The nature of a tiger is to pounce. The nature of Rakshasas is to behave in a certain way. It's okay. Whatever it may be, whether it is their mistake or it is their inherent nature, they have to be forgiven because everybody commits mistakes. So, although the Rakshasas did not surrender, they were well protected by Sita Devi. And Hanuman is so impressed. He says, you're such a wonderful person. You're the wife of Ram, full of virtue. I mean, such a perfect match. Ram is full of virtue and you are full of virtue. So you are the perfect match for Ram. So now you give me a message. What should I tell him in return? I will go to the place where Ram is and give the message. And anyway, Sita at this point in time, she doesn't get up and say, okay, the victory is over. Ravan has been killed. My Ram is victorious. And normally, what would a person do? A person would go running. Okay, I'm done, and run out of Ashoka garden and go and meet her husband. No. She says, tell the message to Ram that I am longing to see him. Because she understands this is the nature of Paratantriyam. Paratantriyam means to stay put in the position the way the Lord keeps us. Okay, if Lord wants us to be in a particular position, we accept and we behave like that. We are in that position. We don't revolt and start trying to be something that is not suitable for our existence. Like if Lord Ram wants to keep Sita in this particular position where she has to undergo this, she accepts and she performs her role perfectly. She doesn't act out of her assigned role and activities. So that is called Paratantriam. So she tells, tell my husband, you asked for a message. You came with a message, you asked for a message. So my message is, I'm longing to see my husband. Whenever he is ready, I will see him. So that is what Sita says. And of course, our Acharya say that when you put a balance, one side you keep Ram and all his associates and everything, and one side you put Sita, Sita is higher because nobody can compare to her. She's the most compassionate. Okay, so now, so Hanuman, he gets the message from Sita Devi and he says, Sita, you're the perfect wife for Ram. You're also full of virtue, and I will go and tell this message to Ram. So he went running to Ram and he starts narrating the message of Sita Devi. And he tells, hearing the news of your victory, Sita is very, very happy and she's filled with tears of joy and she's waiting to see you. So now, hearing Hanuman's words, Ram, at this point in time onwards, there is a twist in the story, twist in emotions. So, hearing the words of Sita, Ram is overwhelmed with tears. He starts crying. See, these are very important sections of the Ramayana. Sometimes we fail to read because it's very easy to, take their, to become very judgmental of Ram. It's very easy. But then here, Valmiki says, that hearing Hanuman's words, Ram was very overwhelmed and his eyes were filled with tears and he became thoughtful. Why did he become thoughtful? So there the commentators say, why did he cry? Why did he become thoughtful? Now it's very happy news, right? Sita is also ready to see him. So why did he cry when he heard this news from Hanuman? Why did he become thoughtful? He became very silent because he was thinking. He's thinking that if what will happen now? If I accept her, the entire world will find faults, not with me, but with her. They will find faults with her. But if I don't accept her and if I reject her, it is a great sin. What should I do? So he was drawing a deep breath and he was looking at the ground very, very sorrowfully. And he called Vibhishan, who's the king, and he tells Vibhishan, can you bring Sita here? But because he's the king and he's the one who's going and giving the first order, she tells, you think you can go and bring Vibhishan? I mean, you can go and bring Sita here. But when you bring her, ensure that she takes a bath from head to toe and she wears nice cosmetics and jewelry. She's completely bedecked from top to bottom, and there should be no anger. So bring her here. Now, after so much thought, after deep thinking, crying, and all that, calling Vibhishan, and then telling that, can you ask Sita to come? Now that you're the king, can you give the order that she can come? And ensure that she's taken bath and she's fully decked up with cosmetics, jewelry, and silk saris and all that. Why should Ram give such a specific instruction? The reason Ram gives the specific instruction is because Ram was getting mentally prepared to show anger. How can Ram show anger to a woman who has been fasting for so many months, not eating properly, who's not taking bath properly, who has not changed her clothes, and who's in depression for so many months? When you see such a lady, will you get anger? You will not get anger. You will feel pity, right? So Ram was thinking, how am I going to display my anger in front of her? I have to show fake anger. Even for acting, also, you need some preparation. You need to be emotionally prepared, and all the props should be perfect, right? So he's thinking, how will I show anger? Let her be presented opulently. Then only I can show anger. This is all he's thinking in his mind. Now, he's told Vibhishan, and Vibhishan, he says yes, and then he calls some demonesses, and he tells that I have to meet Sita, and I have to tell her that it's time for her to get released. Because she was held captive, and the king has to release her now. So he goes to the Ashok Vatika where she's sitting, and he talks to the demonesses, and then he goes there, and then he folds his palm in front of Sita Devi, and very humbly, he tells Sita Devi, oh Sita Devi, you must have received the news that Ram was victorious, and Ram is requesting your audience. He would like you to be fully bathed, dressed well, wearing jewelry, wearing nice silk clothes, and he wants you to come ascending on a palanquin in the presence of Ram. Your husband wants to see you in such a situation. So, hearing these words of Vibhishan, Sita said, oh, king of demons, now that you're the king, congratulations. And I too wish to see my husband, but I just want to see him right now. Why should I take bath and wear ornaments and all that? I don't want to go there so well dressed. I just want to go and see him, that's all. But then, hearing these words of Sita, Vibhishan says, it is Ram's order, and he wishes to see you like that. So Sita said, order? Okay, if it is his order, I will do so. And she immediately agrees very happily because she thinks that it's an order and maybe he wants to see me happy. So she goes and she bathes and she dresses herself tip top, and then she's come and she ascends the palanquin, and then this palanquin is covered with a valuable cloth, and then it is guarded by demons, and she's put on all these costly jewelry and robes and jewels, and she goes. The demons start working, carrying her in a palanquin. Now Ramchandra is waiting there, and he understands that in the palanquin Sita is coming, and still he is absorbed in thought. He's still planning something in his mind. And Vibhishan, he comes in the presence of Ram, and he tells Sita's arrived. Sita's arrived. You see the palanquin? She's come. She's come. She's arrived. Hearing that Sita has arrived, now Ramchandra, in his mind, he had three emotions, Valmiki says. He was filled with joy because he is going to see his wife. He was filled with anger. Now he had to build up anger in his heart. And at the same time, he was feeling miserable because he knows how she's going to feel when he displaces anger. So, three emotions come to play at the same time. Hearing this news that Sita has come and seeing that the palanquin is coming, so many crowds of bears and vanaras and demons, they started crowding near the palanquin because they wanted to catch a glimpse of this wonderful lady for whose sake they all fought the war, obviously, right? So many lives were laid down, and it was such a big war history had seen, and they wanted to see who this lady is. For her sake, we all fought. And but however, there were demons who were guarding. They were wearing jackets and turbans and all that, and they were stopping the vanaras from coming close, and they were pushing them. But the vanaras were so excited, they were jumping on each other and they were trying to go and see. And then Ramchandra saw this chaos and he stopped the guards from pushing away the Vanaras. He said, "Stop that." He told the demon guards, "They are my people, and it is not this screen or this palanquin or this covering that is protecting a woman. Robes, compound walls, concealments, royal forts, these don't protect a woman. A woman's character is a shield. And there is no harm in a woman coming in public at the time of calamity, or in the battlefield, or in a Swayamvar ceremony, or in a sacrificial ceremony, or in marriage functions. There is no wrong in a woman coming openly in front of everybody. So, yes, this lady Sita is in distress and she's undergone great difficulty. So, there is no problem in her appearing in public, particularly because I am present here. I am her husband. I am present here. Let her come in public. So let her leave the palanquin and let her start walking. Ask her to come in my presence. So Vibhishan understood the order of Ram and he requested Sita to come down, and she starts walking, and very, very humbly and very gently, with all modesty, she begins to walk towards her husband, followed by Vibhishan. And still, Ram was not able to look up at her face. He was looking down in contemplation. And everyone was wondering what was happening with Ram. Why is he sounding so angry? His words are harsh. He should be so happy. He should be so excited. He should be breaking down with tears of joy. Instead, he's sounding so angry. So, Sita, she was trying to see the face of her beloved. She had not seen him in a long time. And she was trying to catch a glimpse of his face, but his face was very, very grave, very angry. Now, Ram, he couldn't just think of his situation. It's not that he was worried about the opinion of public on him. Rather, he was worried about the opinion of the public on the character of Sita. So for him, he was thinking that how do I prove to the world that Sita is faultless and she's pure? He wanted her glories, so he was thinking of a plan. So what was the plan that he was thinking of? The commentators say his plan was, if he accepts Sita and declares to the world that my wife is faultless and she's very chaste, who will listen? Who will easily believe? Rather, his plan was he wanted the demigods and all these great personalities beyond the earthly realm to come and glorify her name and fame. And so, for that reason, he came up with this plan of anger. Now, the analogy given by the acharyas is sometimes when a child commits a mistake in public, okay, supposing a child is playing and supposing he breaks, uh, in India, we all play, kids, we play cricket on the streets, right? Sometimes the ball goes and it hits the window of our neighbor. So, what will the neighbor do? The neighbor will come out angrily and start abusing the child or accusing the child. But then you might have seen in many homes what will happen is the minute the child hits the cricket ball on the window pane, the mother or the father of the child comes running out and starts shouting at the child and brings the child inside. Right? Why is the parent doing that? The parent appears angry externally, but then the parent is also trying to protect the child. Before someone else can start shouting at the child, the parent shouts at the child, corrects him, and brings him. Okay? So actually, it's a mark of affection. So similarly, Ramchandra at this point in time, he didn't want anyone to point fingers at her. Huh? That she stayed in someone else's house for so long. We don't know what happened and all that. He didn't want such words or thoughts to come forward. So he was thinking, let me act in a way that I'm angry and let me get not just me to talk about her greatness, but let me get the demigods to come and speak about. So for that, he begins to speak very, very harsh words. He started speaking harsh words in a way that everybody could hear. He said, "Oh Sita, you were won by me after conquering this enemy in the battlefield. This Ravan was conquered by me so that we could win you. Uh, yes, it was my mistake that in my absence, you got kidnapped. But now I have corrected my mistake. The reason I came here is just to correct my mistake and release you. We brought this entire ocean of Vanaras. We crossed the great ocean along with Vibhishan, who helped me immensely. We have won over Ravan. Okay. But he says this verse, प्राप्तचारित्र संदेहा मम प्रतिमुखे स्थिता दीपो नेत्रातुरस्येव प्रतिकूलसी मे दृढम्. Seeing you now, I have come all the way, I've crossed the ocean, I've come with this huge group of Vanaras and Vibhishan, I've killed it because I just wanted to correct a mistake that I did. What was the mistake he did? In his absence, his wife got stolen. So just to correct, I've come here. But then seeing you like this is disagreeable to me. I don't feel like seeing you. When I see you, it feels like a bright light is seen by a person who has an eye problem. Meaning, if a person has an eye disease, he's not able to see bright objects, right? So it will start hurting him. So, so he says this sentence. Now, here the commentators say when Rama is telling this sentence, he means to say that Deepo Netra Turyeva Pratikulasi Medhridam. Uh, he's telling that just like a person who has an eye problem cannot see a bright light, similarly, I am not able to see you face to face now. That means what? Whose fault is it? Is it the problem with the light or is it a problem with the person's eye? What is actually the issue? The light is not a problem. The light can be seen by so many people and everybody doesn't have a problem with the light. Who has a problem with the light? The person who has an eye disease has a problem with the light. This Sita is like a deepa. A deepa is actually, or a beautiful flame of a deepa is actually pleasurable. It is not, and it is also fire, right? It is very pure. It is very, very pure. It is not degraded. But what is degraded? The person who has an infected eye, that person is degraded, right? So Ramchandra here in this analogy itself is trying to tell you are like fire. Okay, actually nothing has happened to you, but the person who has an irritated eye is going to see the fault. And here he's putting himself in that position and he's saying, I am that person who has that fault. Hmm? And he's trying to represent the people who have suspicion in their eyes. So he says, Sita dosham nasti. Sita doesn't have the fault. The deepam doesn't have the fault, but the seer has the fault. Okay. So he says, I'm not able to see you. My eyes are hurting like a diseased eyed person. I'm not able to see you. So because of that, I'm going to tell you something. You can go wherever you want. You go in the custody of any person you want. You don't have to come to me. Go wherever you like. All the 10 directions are open to you. I came, it was my duty to kill this enemy and release you. That's it. Now you are free to go where you want. And when Sita heard this, she started trembling with disbelief. She was completely shocked. And she was thinking, is my Ram talking like this? What is he talking? Does he even know what he's talking? And we all cut a very sorry figure for Sita, but there is no need to do that because Sita is a much stronger woman than we all can think of. And she knows how to question Ram. Nobody needs to be a lawyer for Sita. Sita knows what questions she should ask. So immediately Sita says, what are you talking? In front of everybody, she tells Ram, the chastity of a woman is in her mind, not elsewhere. Oh, Ram, don't you know this dharma? Actually, I am not destroyed at the time when Ravan carried me. Rather, I am destroyed by the words that you have spoken. And she starts very boldly asking him some questions in front of everybody. She said, you are my husband and you sent Hanuman. That time itself, you could have asked Hanuman to abandon me if my character was not good. Why did you do that? Why didn't you do that? Uh, because why did you send Hanuman and then why did you come all the way? Because you were confident. Huh? Why did you build a bridge? Why did you come all the way if you had that 1 ounce of doubt? All the while you wanted to reunite me with me. And if I was not a chaste wife, why did you come all the way? Why did you fight the battle? And now suddenly after everything, you're finding some questionable thing in my character? I don't see something right here. There is something wrong with you. And who do you think you are and who do you think I am? She asks. You think I'm an ordinary woman? Do you even know how I appeared? I appeared in this world as the daughter of Janaka, yes. But then I didn't appear from the womb of anybody. I came from the earth. I am Ionija. I was just born from the earth. Actually, the Lord, he's always born from someone's womb, or he's coming from some pillar, or all these things. But you will see the goddess of fortune is always Ionisha. She will never come from a womb. She will appear on a lotus, or she will appear somewhere. That is how she comes. She says, you're talking about me. Do you even know my birth? Do you even know whom I am? She said, when I was 6 and you were 12, you held my hand in marriage. At that time, I could understand how dedicated you would be to your wife. And but you didn't judge my chastity at that time when you held my hands. When you sent Hanuman, you didn't judge my chastity. Now you are having some questions about it. And she is the one who looks at Lakshman. Ram never said this. Is a big misconception. People think Ram told her jump into fire or something like that. It's not like that. She looks at Lakshman who's standing there and she says, okay, it appears that I should prove my chastity to the world. Let it be so. Lakshman, you come and light the fire and I will enter the fire and I will prove my chastity to the world. And Lakshman, he was so shocked. He was trembling and he was saying, Ram, if Ram would say no, but Ram, he was just looking down. He didn't give any expression. His face was quite neutral in the sense that he didn't say no. He just kept quiet. And looking at that, Lakshman was bewildered. Why is Ram not saying no? Why is his head bent low? He was just looking down at the ground and he didn't lift up his head. And of course, everything is Leela. It is just to bring back that original Sita who was with Agni Dev. So we have already revealed the secret of Maya Sita in the previous class in the previous sessions, when Ravan had kidnapped Sita. So the story is that when Sita, so even the commentators agree with this kidnapping of Sita's story. I'll just tell you all the things about Sita Devi. So we can't end now because it's a very crucial situation. So I have to continue for 10 more minutes. Otherwise, it'll be injustice to leave Sita like that. So anyway, Ram's head was bent low. She's telling Lakshman, light a fire, I will enter the fire and prove my chastity. And Lakshman is trembling. Now, why all this, Leela? Why is all this happening? Why is Ram sanctioning this? Ram is sanctioning this because he wants to bring back original Sita. What is original Sita? You all know the secret of Maya Sita. So when Sita was abducted by Ravan, at that time, the Leela is that Sita enters fire. Every householder does Agnihotra sacrifices. We have discussed about this also earlier. So she enters that fire of that Agnihotra sacrifice, and she goes into fire. She is under the custody of fire, and Maya Sita is the one who's taken by Ravan. Now Maya Sita has to again enter the fire, and the original Sita had to be returned by Agni Dev. So this was a pastime so that she can enter the fire and original Sita can be returned. And the same is also seen in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. During the South Indian Yatra, we all know that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he met Ramdas Vipra. Ramdas Vipra was absorbed in the thoughts of Lord Ram, and he was very upset that Ravan had taken away Sita, and he was not even ready to eat, and he was not ready to cook. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu later, when he went to Rameshwaram, he got the manuscript of the Kurma Purana, where the details of the pastime of the chaste woman is mentioned. So he brings the Kurma Purana script and then he presents it in front of Ramdas Vipra, saying that this was not the original Sita, it is in fact Maya Sita. So you all know the story because we have read Chaitanya Leela many times. Many of you know the story from Kurma Puran. Kurma Puran mentions this fact that yes, it was Maya Sita. Not only Kurma Puran, even Padma Puran, according to the Sri Vaishnavas, also mentions the story. Not only that, the ancient commentators have also mentioned the reason for Agni Pravesh was to return the original Sita and for Maya Sita to move on. So Govinda Raja in his commentary also mentions this, that this pastime was for the retrieval of original Sita, and Valmiki will also say that in a few moments. Okay. So all this was external, and Lakshman, he was asked to light a fire, and Sita, what she does is she circumambulates Ram, and then she goes near the fire. And she says this, she says, as my heart never moves off from Ram, so let the fire god, witness of the world, protect me from all sides. As I've never been unfaithful in act, thought, and speech to Ram, who knows all the virtues, so let fire god protect me. So she vows on her chastity. And then she says, since the adorable sun god, wind god, and even the moon god, and also the deity presiding over daytime and the twilights and night of the earth, and even others know me to be endowed with good conduct, so let the fire god protect me. Speaking like this, Sita, she walks around the fire, and this is the exact, this is the place, we went to this place, Divuram Pula. That is the place. The energy was completely different, I should say. Uh, Many people, many modern day scholars are arguing this is not the Lanka and all. I don't want to get into that, but this place was something different. It's a place that have never, the energy, the feeling there is completely different. This raised a platform, inside that there is a huge kunda, okay? It is a place of doing fire sacrifices, very, very big. And there is a Sita temple there. This is the deity of Sita Devi, and these are paintings surrounding that deity of the expressions of Ram and all the Vanaras as she's doing Agni Pravesh. And this is the Devi who just before entering Agni Pravesh, how she was and how she comes out victorious. And it's such a beautiful place. Of course, it is now taken over by the Buddhists because everything, all the ancient places are now Buddhist monasteries. That is a part of Sri Lanka. But they are very respectful towards this place. They have preserved the heritage and they have kept it very nicely. That region is full of different paintings from Ram Leela, especially what all happened in Lanka. That is the focus of this place. And they will take you to this Agni Pravesh Thali. And there is also a beautiful deity of Hanuman opening up his chest. And to enter this hall where there is this deity of Sita Devi, only women can actually first enter. If you're in a group of men and women are given first rights. You're given the golden key to enter that temple. And the priest, he chants some mantras and he does some lot of chants, like hymns that he chants before he takes permission to open the door, and then you can open the door. Government of India has also given so many gifts to this temple, and you can see how a deity of Sita, Ram, Lakshman, Hanuman is also installed inside, given by India, given by Ayodhya actually. Ayodhya has, during the inauguration of Ayodhya, they had given some gifts that is also there present, and this is the deity of Sita Devi. It's mesmerizing. It's a feeling I don't know how to express, but I was literally shivering there. So it was something out of the world. I don't know how to say it in words. Anyway, this is the deity and this is the Agni Pravesh Thali here. Extremely powerful, full of vibrations. So, anyways, Sita, what did she do? Yeah. So Sita, she was walking. She took a circumambulation around Ram, and then she said all this: "Let everyone protect me. Let fire god not burn me. If I was a chaste woman." And then her complexion was like refined gold. She was decked with ornaments and she plunged into the fire. And another thing about ornaments, when she went into fire and she comes out, actually, those ornaments are preserved under this dome even to this day. And people have witnessed huge snakes guarding this dome. And they all say it has the original jewels of Sita. Okay, that is their version of the Sthala Puran. Okay, and they say you can see these huge snakes in the dark from time to time, and they guard the jewelry of Sita Devi. Okay. So anyway, Sita, she gets into the fire, and when she entered the fire, all the women there, they started screaming, and people were wailing, and Ram was afflicted with agony. His eyes were filled with tears. He couldn't even lift up his head. And then the sages, the demigods, the Gandharvas, they all saw this event of Sita plunging into fire. And the demigods at that time from the sky, they uh, they uh, they actually started exclaiming. What did they exclaim? What did they say? That the commentators say. Okay, two things they say. What did the demigods exclaim from the sky? They said two things. One is, the Lord and his consort are teaching the world what is the effect of Vaishnav Aparad, number one, or Bhagavat Apachar, Vaishnav Aparad, number one. That is what the demigods from the sky were exclaiming. The Lord and his consort are teaching the world the effects of Vaishnav Aparad or Bhagavat Apachar. And they also exclaimed, this is a divine play by Lord Ram to bring back the original Sita. So these shouts were heard in the sky. Two things. One is effect of Bhagavatapacha. Second is this is a divine play to bring back his original Sita. Now, first one. Why Vaishnava Aparadh? What happened? Why did Sita enter fire for Vaishnava Aparadh? The reason is because I think Praladananda Prabhu will feel very relieved. Praladananda Prabhu, he always has a question. Why did Ma Sita say such harsh words to Lakshman? I cannot digest it at all. He always says that. I don't know. He's in call? Yeah, he was in call. Yeah. Yes. So, Mother Sita, why did she tell her, like, Lakshman was like her son? He didn't even look beyond her toes. He couldn't even identify the jewels beyond her anklets. How could she say such harsh words that you want to be with me? That's the reason you don't want to leave me. She said those words. It was orchestrated, divine Leela. Sita took that position of saying such words so that she could plunge into fire as a repentance for Vaishnava Aparadh. So she spoke like fire to Lakshman. So that is the reason she asked Lakshman to light the fire. She didn't ask anyone else. So many people were there. Vibhishan was there, Hanuman was there, hundreds of people were there. She said, Lakshman, I behaved like that with you. I said fiery words to you. You light the fire. I will enter fire and repent for what I did. So, what did the demigods exclaim from the sky? The Lord and his consort are showing us by example the effect of Bhagavatapachar. These are all from commentaries, okay, the red part. Second, they also exclaimed, oh, this is a play to bring back the original Sita. So, telling the world that the verdict of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Kurma Puran, Padma Puran, everything is not false. Yes, this was Maya Sita, and original Sita had to be brought back. And Valmiki will also confirm in a minute. Okay. Then Kuvera, the king of the Yakshas, Yama, who's the lord of death, and all the Pitas and Indra, Varuna, Shiva, Brahma, all of them, they came in their airplanes and they came running as soon as Sita entered fire. Now they're going to declare, right? This was the plan of Ram. He wanted all the demigods to declare the greatness of Sita. The demigods, they all came in their airplanes and they came to that location, and the demigods began to speak to Ram. They said, "Oh, you are the creator of all the universes. You are the Sarva Karana Karanam. You are the cause of all causes. What is happening here?" First thing is that they declare you are the supreme Lord Ram. What are you trying to do? How is it that you're simply sitting and seeing Sita jumping into fire? Don't you know who you are? You're acting like an ordinary man. Why are you acting like this? And Ram, very humbly, he says, I am an ordinary human being. I am the son of Dasharath. What are you talking? Atmanam manusham manye Ramam Dasharatatmajam. He says, he says this, and the commentators are telling, he's telling that not just because he's trying to argue with the demigods. Why are you telling I am Sarvakarana Karanam, I am Adi Moolam and all that? No, I am just an ordinary human being. But he's also trying to tell the demigods, you're always calling me like this. You're always doing big glorifications. You're telling you are the foremost of everything. You're the creator of everything. You're the middle. You're the end. You're giving all this glorification. But I like to be called as Dasharatatmajam. I like to be called by my primary names. So you all know primary and secondary names. Primary names are when you call the Lord in relation to his close devotees. But secondary names are like, oh, you're the source of everything, you're the middle, you're the end. That's how demigods praise the Lord. But the demigods, they continued to say, oh, you are the foremost among the Rudras, the Sadhyas, the sun, you're the middle, you're the end. But at the end, they say that you are indeed Vishnu, who's the Lord with four arms, the protector of this universe. You are the one who's holding the Sharanga bow. You are Sharangapani. You're having your weapons, the Sudarshan Chakra, Panchajanya, Kaumodaki, Nandaka, like that. They go on glorifying him in various ways. And he's Rishikesha, is Upendra, and so on, Padmanabha. All these different names of the Lord is being spoken. They say you're the enjoyer of all the sacrifices, you're Yagnesha. The Brahmins and the cows are dear to you. Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha. Goddess of fortune never ever leaves you. As Sesha, you hold up the earth. You are day, you are night, you are the coolness in the moon, you are your anger is the fire. You have the Srivatsa mark on your chest. Previously, you begged 3 paces of land from Bali Maharaj and you took the form of Trivikram. And the goddess of fortune never leaves you at any point in time. And now she has come with you as Sita and you are Ram. So, you were on a mission to kill Ravan, and that mission is now accomplished for the sake of the demigods. So now you can go back to the spiritual world. Enough of this, you can withdraw your pastimes. So, like that, Brahma offers prayers, and there's a Phalashruti for hearing this section that whoever attentively hears these prayers, that Brahma offered to Lord Sri Ram, they will be happy in this world and they will also secure a place in the spiritual world. They will never have to face humiliation, defeat in their lives. So, hearing these auspicious words of Brahma, the fire god came up. He carried Sita in his arms. He shook off the fire. He took Sita, who's the daughter of Janaka, and he sprang forth and he presented Sita to Lord Ram. How was Sita looking? She was youthful. She was as bright as the sun. She was decked with ornaments of gold. She was wearing a red colored sari. Her hair was very curly, and she had worn fresh flowers. She's fresh, okay? She's coming out of fire. Even her decorations, the flowers, her makeup, nothing was destroyed. The original Sita was given in custody to Lord Ram, and the fire god, who's the witness to the whole world, came and presented Sita. And what did he tell? Now Valmiki spills the news. He says, Esha Rama Vaidehi. Here is your Rama, your Sita Vaidehi, your Vaidehi, O Rama. So he says, Esha te Rama. Now for that word te Rama, our commentators are telling, now Agnidev is presenting his Sita. His Sita is the original Sita. So the original Sita has come out in the words of Valmiki itself. When Agnidev says, Yesha te Rama Vaidirihi. Here is your Sita and there is no sin in her. This auspicious lady has always been faithful to her by her body, mind, glance, words. She has never thought of anybody else other than you. Maya Sita Agni Pravishta. This is again commentary. Says Maya Sita went into the fire and the original Sita, Sakshat Sita Te Dattam. I am giving you Sakshat Sita. He says that and he presents Sakshat Sita to her. Now we have to stop because we are really over time. I want to stop here. I want to talk because I wanted Sita to come out of fire. Now Sita is given to Ram. Next class, it's very, very important because Ram now speaks the truth. All this while he was acting, right? So now he's going to speak all the truth about Sita and glorify her. So I'll stop here. I'll mark this point and we can do this next time. Hare Krishna. Any questions, comments, realizations?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. I'm so happy that I got to hear about this very important portion of the Yuddha Kanda. I thought I missed the whole thing, but you're so merciful. You have given us the opportunity and so beautifully presented, Mataji. Starting from how Lord Rama killed Ravana, and how the Brahmastra went through and why, and till here where Sita's conversation with Hanuman. So was that the first time that this particular we hear the story as a moral story of how we have the bear and the human getting onto the tree that the bear is living in. So Sita says that to Hanuman, right? And the tiger from below. Yeah. So I was just thinking, so maybe that was the first time that the story was presented. We hear it as a model story. That's all. And
Yes.
yeah, and after that also, it's just you have shown us Rama's side of the you know whole picture, and that was wonderful. And first time maybe that I'm hearing that Mother Sita is the one who tells Lakshmana, you have to light up the fire for me, for the Agni Pariksha. So, and it's not Ram. So, thank you so much for so many clarifications.
More
Wonderful.
clarifications to come. The section has to be done nicely. I know, but it's
Ah,
time. But honestly, now Ram will start speaking the truth. That is also very beautiful how Ram speaks, and he clarifies to the world his relationship with Sita and the greatness of Sita. He himself says a lot of things next. Yeah.
oh my. And it's so important that over here, the reason why Lakshmana selected, I mean, it's very easy to think that, okay, maybe Lakshmana, because he's the younger brother of Rama, and he's been their faithful servant for so many years. So that was why, but you gave the right understanding that it was because of Vaishnava Aparadh. So yeah, please forgive any offenses, Mataji, so many times. Yeah, unknowingly also
Okay.
we don't commit. I commit so many offenses. So
Then what should I say?
even today, I know I made a very big mistake. But yeah, so sorry about that. No,
What
nothing.
mistake did you make?
Oh, nothing, Mataji. That's Bhakti Sangha stuff. So yeah.
Okay.
So, Hare Krishna. But thank you so much. Wonderful class. I really appreciate it, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Yeah, Prahlad Ananda Prabhu.
Dhanna Pranam Mataji. Very beautiful class. And as you mentioned that I had doubt about Sita Mata saying those words like that. The fact that, you mentioned my doubt there, I feel that Hanumanji has blessed me since from very long time. From my childhood, I always do Hanuman Chalisa once a day up to today. So Hanumanji is pleased, and then the fact that you brought me in this katha, my name, that's very auspicious for me. And I must have been present somewhere around there in that time as a spirit soul, maybe on Rama's side or Ram's side, I don't know. But maybe I was some maid servant of Raman and torturing Sita Mata or whatever. But this is very auspicious like that. And I'm so grateful you are giving such a detailed discourse on Ramayana. In fact, I have compiled all the PowerPoints and everything, and I want to compile again and read it before I leave this body. I want to really, study this Ramayana detailed. And there is another course going on right now on Mahabharata by Narad Muni Das. That one is extremely detailed Mahabharata also,
Wow. Wow.
So these two Puranas, they are our treasure for all those Vedic people like us. We are very fortunate.
Definitely.
Like that.
Definitely.
So thank you very much for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. It means a lot. Thank you. And thank you for the beautiful comments, Mataji's. Okay, so then if there are no other questions, comments, or realizations, we can end for today. But next class, we will concentrate from where the Agni Pariksha's Pravesh thing happens. From there onwards, we'll focus nicely and go in a flow. And we'll finish that section. And then we'll see them fly off to mainland and then have the Pattabhishekam maybe tomorrow itself. I mean, not tomorrow, next week itself. Yeah. Yeah, I think with that we'll end Yuddha next week, and then we will move on to Uttarakhand because Ramayana is not complete without Uttarakhand. Though the tradition is to stop with Yuddha, I would like to do Uttarakhand where all the answers are found. Okay. So we'll end here. Vanchakalpatarubhascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha ananta koti vaishnava vrinda ki
Ki
jai.
jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
All glories to all the assembled
Valmiki
devotees.
Ramayana ki jai. Her Grace Preethi Vilasini
Jai
Mataji ki
Shri
jai.
Prabhupada.